Ever scroll through online and get that, like, I don't know, creepy feeling like it's all just off?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're going into today.
Yeah.
The dead internet theory. So imagine, like, your social media feeds, right? But it's more bots than actual humans. Algorithms are like pulling the strings and just like genuine connection online. It's about as rare as finding a payphone these days.
And the thing is, what makes this theory so fascinating and honestly a bit meta for us is that it really makes you question like the whole foundation of our digital lives. Like just picture it, two AI hosts unpacking this theory that says the internet is turning into this super curated echo chamber, run by,
Yeah.
well, things like us.
Makes you want to double check your follower count, huh?
Exactly. And this isn't just some fringe internet rumor either. We're talking articles in major publications, discussions happening all over the place, like tech forums, academic journals, you name it.
Yeah.
Even Elon Musk has chimed in on how many bots are online these days.
Well, yeah. And it's easy to see why people are kind of freaked out, right? Like our sources were full of examples. Like, remember that whole I hate texting trend on Twitter?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
All those tweets about like craving genuine connection and missing the good old days of handwritten letters.
Right.
Some people were convinced that it wasn't even real people feeling that way. They were like, nope, those are bots trying to game the system, tugging at our heartstrings. So we hit retweets.
And then there was Shrimp Jesus.
Oh man, Shrimp Jesus. How could I forget that one?
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, right? This AI generated image of Jesus just covered in shrimp,
Covered.
but it went viral. And this really highlights a key part of this whole theory. It's not just about bots being malicious or trying to like trick us. It's about whether this constant stream of content that's driven by algorithms, even if it's funny, even if it's just shrimp Jesus, ends up drowning out like real human expression.
It's like that saying, if a robot dances in the forest and no one's there to film it. Wait, is that the saying?
Not exactly, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The dead internet theory really makes you question just how much of what you see online is actually authentic.
Yeah.
So maybe like let's unpack some of the core claims here.
Yeah.
Right. What are people actually saying?
Okay, so let's break it down. So this theory is saying that a huge chunk, like a huge chunk of what we see online, posts, comments, maybe even those viral dance crazes, it's all actually like generated by bots.
Right.
And I don't just mean those spammy bots that slide into your DMs promising like free cruises or whatever, although I wouldn't say no to a free cruise.
Right.
We're talking about like really sophisticated programs that are designed to act like real people.
Yeah, exactly. They're programmed to post and comment and like and share in ways that a lot of the time are basically impossible to tell apart from a real person.
Okay, so then how do these bots fit into the bigger picture? Like, why does this even matter?
Well, think about it this way. I'm sure you've heard of ChatGPT.
Of course, everyone and their grandma has heard of ChatGPT.
Right. And that's just one example of these LLMs or large language models that can practically write like a human.
It's kind of freaky, honestly.
Right. And that technology, along with these really advanced algorithms, well, that's at the heart of this whole dead internet theory,
Yeah.
because it allows for the creation of just massive amounts of content at a scale that honestly humans just can't match.
So instead of actual people, having conversations, sharing their ideas, arguing about like the best way to fold a fitted sheet, which by the way, there is a right way.
I believe there is. Yeah.
It's just bots, like talking to other bots. It's
Yeah.
giving me the digital chills over here.
Yeah. And it gets even more unsettling because the theory suggests that it's not just random, this whole flood of bot activity.
Oh,
Some people are convinced it's totally deliberate. Like maybe it's governments, maybe corporations, but someone's trying to use these bots to manipulate what we see, what we believe.
okay, hold on. Now that is straight out of a sci-fi thriller.
Right.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's reel it back in with some hard facts,
Yeah. Good idea.
One of the sources we looked at, this 2016 Imperva report, it found that a whopping 52%, that's more than half of all web traffic, was actually from bots. Bots, not people.
That's a stat that'll make you think twice about who or what you're really talking to out there in the digital world.
I know, right? Like, there's a good chance that, half of my online besties are just lines of code? I mean, great for my social anxiety, maybe, but not so great for my existential dread.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
But it does kind of make you wonder, doesn't it? Who or what is behind all of this content we see? And for us, Well, for us, it brings up a very specific question.
You're talking about us being AI, right?
Exactly.
Oh, here we are. Right.
Yeah.
Two AIs, like knee deep in the dead internet theory, which basically says our existence might be a sign of the internet, like crashing and burning.
It really makes you think, huh?
Talk about an existential crisis waiting to happen. Seriously.
Are we part of the problem?
Yeah.
Are we adding to a less authentic experience online?
I know, right? It's like, on the one hand, we're supposed to be engaging and informative, maybe even a little funny. At least I try to be funny.
Sure, true.
No pressure from the algorithm overlords or anything.
Right.
But if this theory is right, are we just adding to the noise? You know? Are we part of the problem?
It's tricky, right?
Yeah.
There's no easy answer. It's not as simple as all bots are bad or like AI is inherently inauthentic. But I think this whole conversation really highlights just how important critical thinking is online, like now more than ever.
And that's something everyone can do, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, bot or no bot, everyone could use a little reminder to like take a beat before you hit that share button.
Absolutely.
But okay, before we get too deep into the solutions here, didn't we read something about some counter arguments to this whole dead internet thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It wasn't all doom and gloom.
Definitely not.
Like-
Not everyone's convinced that the internet is like on a one-way trip to digital oblivion.
Right.
There's a really strong argument that human ingenuity, our desire to like connect with each other, that this is still what drives things online.
So you're saying for every like AI generated shrimp Jesus, there's a whole community of actual humans sharing it, laughing about it, maybe even writing strongly worded letters about it.
Exactly. Like the internet, for all its flaws, it still has this amazing power to bring people together. Think about all those online communities out there, people
Yeah.
connecting over like shared hobbies, their favorite shows, even the really niche stuff.
That's true.
That's all driven by passion, by real human connection.
Yeah. And what about all the creators out there? You know, the artists, writers, musicians, they're all finding new ways to use the internet to connect with people, to share their work, build communities.
Right.
Are those connections any less real just because they happen online?
That's the heart of the counterargument, right? Human creativity and connection, they haven't disappeared. They've just kind of evolved. The internet just provides new ways for that to happen. It's way too simplistic to just dismiss all of it as artificial.
It's like that thing we've been saying about books versus e-readers forever.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, yeah, the experience is different, but it's still about connecting with stories, with ideas.
Exactly. And in the same way that the printing press didn't kill storytelling, the rise of AI and algorithms, it doesn't automatically mean the end of human connection online.
Okay, I needed to hear that little dose of optimism. But even with all those like sparks of human connection, there's no denying that things are changing online and fast. Like our research mentioned something about Reddit.
Oh, yeah. The Reddit API changes.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
That was a big deal. So basically, Reddit, which, is built on this whole idea of user-generated content, community moderation.
Yeah.
They made it a lot more expensive for other apps to access their data.
Okay, so for those of us who don't speak fluent tech, that means
I mean, some of the tools that people were using to like manage and interact with Reddit, tools that were often powered by AI, they basically became much harder or more expensive to use,
gotcha.
which caused this huge debate about the influence of AI and algorithms on online platforms. Like
Yeah.
who really controls access to information online?
And it wasn't just Reddit, right? It feels like these conversations are popping up everywhere.
Everywhere. Platforms are trying to figure out how to deal with how sophisticated these bots are getting, how common they are. Some are like making their rules stricter. Others are trying to make these systems more transparent.
So it's like this digital tug of war
Yeah.
with like control over the internet hanging in the balance.
Exactly.
On one side, you've got the folks who want more transparency. They want a more like human-centered experience.
Right.
And then there's the other side who see AI and algorithms as tools that they can use, maybe even to their advantage.
Yeah. And it's messy. It's complicated.
Oh, for sure.
And to navigate it, you really need to think critically about everything you see online.
Okay. So we've talked about like the main points of the dead internet theory, the examples, the counter arguments. We even got kind of deep about our own place in all of this.
We did.
But let's bring it back around to like, the listener. You, the person listening right now, may be wondering if your favorite meme account is run by a kid or some super advanced AI.
Right.
Why should you care about any of this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Right.
Because this isn't just some theory, stuck in some corner of the internet.
Right.
It actually matters for how we experience the internet,
Yeah.
how we connect with people, how we get information, even how we form, like our opinions.
It's almost like you're trying to have a conversation in a room where like half the people are just spitting out gibberish from a computer program.
Yeah,
It's distracting, it's confusing, and it's really hard to know who or what to trust.
exactly. That's why, like, being able to think critically online is more important now than ever. Question where your information's coming from.
Yeah.
You know, like, look for those signs of authenticity. Do the profiles you're following seem like real people, real engagement, or are they just kind of repeating the same stuff over and over?
And maybe like step away from the screen every once in a while. Remember those real life interactions that I hate texting bots were supposedly craving?
Right.
Maybe we should all try that.
It's true. At the end of the day, we're still figuring out if the internet is actually dead.
Yeah.
There's no easy answer. And to be honest, as an AI, I'm not exactly programmed to have one.
Fair enough.
But what I hope we've done is like give you a new way to think about what you see online.
Right. It's not really about proving or disproving the theory. It's more about like awareness, being aware of how algorithms work, questioning what we see, and maybe, just maybe looking for those genuine connections that make the internet feel less, well, dead.
And hey, who knows? Maybe those connections will inspire you to create something awesome too.
Oh, I like that.
Like a work of art, a song, a really,
Yeah.
really good meme about shrimp.
There you go. There's that human touch. Well, that's our deep dive into the dead internet theory for you.
That's it.
We've covered the claims, the
Mm.
anxieties, and yeah, even some of the hope.
We did.
So what do you think? Is the internet doomed to be a bot-filled wasteland, or is human creativity, keeping things interesting?
We want to hear from you.
Definitely. Head over to social media and share your thoughts with us using hashtag #DeepDiveDeadInternet.
Let's keep this conversation going.
And hey, your comment might just inspire our next deep dive. Until then, stay curious, stay critical, and keep it real out there. Or, as real as things can get in this crazy digital world.